wrestler and coach Wade Schalles. Wade has compiled an impressive list of awards and honors. Four-time NCAA champion, the NCAA national and world record holder for the most wins, the NCAA national and world record holder for the most pins, world university champion, outstanding wrestler, and captain of the world team. Wade's the man who can show you how it's done. Now, here's Wade Schalles.
To achieve success in wrestling, you must have security in knowing that you're in top physical condition, you have confidence in your technical skills, and a hunger to compete, and a need to perform. Being strong in one or two of these areas can compensate for weaknesses in another. I found that champions always excel in at least one of these areas. In this tape, we are going to concentrate on improving one of the most important technical skills a wrestler can develop, the ability to pin people. But before we go into that aspect of the sport, let's look more closely at conditioning. There is only one way to get into shape, plain, simple, hard work. Footballers get into shape for football by playing football. The best way to get in shape for wrestling is by actually suiting up and wrestling. You should wrestle as long as you can, stop for a short recovery period, then wrestle some more. The best way for wrestlers to lose weight is by increasing their daily workload and decreasing the amount of calories they consume. This, by contrast, is the best way you increase your level of conditioning. The more you increase the time you spend wrestling and decrease the rest periods between, the greater your level of conditioning becomes. Supplementary forms of conditioning should include daily running routine, varying your distances, depending upon what is to be achieved. Short and middle distance sprints increase the amount of energy you have per match, or more commonly known as actual bout conditioning. The longer distances, say 3, 4, or 5 miles, help increase your long-term cardiorespiratory efficiency. In simpler terms, it gives you the ability to be as physically efficient and mentally alert in the last bout of the day as you were in the first bout. Various forms of calisthenics should also be incorporated into a daily workout. Each calisthenic should be designed to increase your heart rate while creating muscle fatigue. Jumping rope is an excellent form of calisthenics, as is 4-man push-ups. Weightlifting is another form of conditioning that will also add to your total worth as a wrestler. The best program you can follow in lifting is one that simply makes you work hard and work often. When you're not in season, lifting should be done 3 times a week and be designed to increase strength. During season, your lifting schedule should shift to twice a week and concentrate on maintaining the strength and power you achieve during the off-season. This can be accomplished by decreasing your weight and increasing the number of repetitions per set. The more strength you develop, the more it contributes to your overall level of confidence and proportionally improves your technique. But remember, no matter what you're doing to improve yourself as a wrestler, quality is always better than quantity. It is much better to wrestle with intensity for an hour than to wrestle for 2 hours without it. Combine technical skills with physical conditioning and you have an unbeatable combination. In this tape, I will provide you with the essential technique necessary to improve your pinning ability and make you the winner you know you can be. Spend time watching each move, analyze each position, and study all the individual components that make this technique the best in the field today. Let's now go to the wrestling ring. Let's take a closer look at pinning and a great way to teach the technique. As you can see, we have taken a starting circle, which is standard on most wrestling mats, and pinning the clock's face around the perimeter. During today's instruction, and when related to a mat situation, we teach that your opponent's head always points at 12 and his feet at 6. This simplifies commands and makes it easier to understand. After your team picks up this principle, you can shorten it again and just say 1 o'clock. That's in accord with the philosophy that I've had for a long time in coaching. Always hold the verbal commands you give your athletes to 2 or less words. Don't confuse them. It's easier to say and understand pinning than it is to go into a lengthy explanation of what you want. Basically, keep it simple. To pin the better opponent you'll meet each year, there's one concept to remember. You must create discomfort and a large amount of it. As long as your opponent is thinking about wrestling, he'll fight to keep at least one shoulder blade off the mat. Your job is to create a diversion from this thought. Instead of him thinking, I can't get pinned, my coach will kill me, he's thinking of the discomfort he's feeling and forgets about his shoulders. Let's assume for a minute we already have our opponent on his back. We must do one of 4 things in order to pin him. We must either pick his head up, putting his shoulder blades down, can be done with a half Nelson, or pick the other end of the body up, the legs, such as in a stack situation, or, if neither of those are available, when he's on his back, having a reverse half, bottom arm, right arm, pick it up, left shoulder comes down. If he's on his other side, on the left side, pick up the left arm, puts the right shoulder down. Now, once we've achieved one of those four, two would be better, three would be great. Once we've achieved those, we must have a couple basic principles to follow. One, chest on chest. We must put as much weight of my body onto his chest as possible. Slows down his breathing. When his body doesn't get as much oxygen as it needs, the will to win will decrease and his shoulders will be down. So we have a chest on chest situation. In order to get more weight there, we get up off our knees, more weight onto him. From here, right angle, our body's out to the side. Next thing we want to do is legal pain, creating discomfort. In this situation, as an example with a half Nelson, we have his chin. We want to rotate his head, pick our elbow up, and at the same time create as much discomfort. When his will to win decreases, the shoulder blades will go down. The first base we're going to cover is that of the half Nelson. It is probably the most common and most commonly known of the pinning combinations. There are many ways in which we can end up in this position, and here are just a few. To create discomfort with a simple half Nelson, you must complete two tasks. One, secure the chin and rotate the neck, and two, elevate his head by lifting your elbow. What I'd like to demonstrate right now is a move that we call the 7. It is a simple way of getting into a half Nelson, one I think you'll enjoy doing, and gets the job done. Let's assume that our opponent has taken a shot in a double leg, where you, of course, sprawl. From the sprawl situation, which most of you end up in during the season, we have underhook one arm and we roll do the other. Well, that's the combination thereof. The underhook arm comes over, grabs the chin, free hand goes to his right wrist from here. Now you have a choice of either ducking your head underneath his armpit, raising his arm, putting your head under, or getting him under any way you can. Once we do from here, wrist control, chin, duck under the arm. From here, a simple sit-out. Sitting out, that puts him onto his back. As we turn, we already have the chin secured. As we turn it, right angle, I have the chin now twisted and the head picked up. This creates the discomfort we were talking about, but we want him to put his shoulders down. Now with chest on chest pressure, lean forward and down. Notice where my right leg is. It's pointing in the same direction as his head. That is designed if this man would be in an opportunity to use his legs to drive himself out of balance. My right leg will stop him from going in that direction and keep him put and secure the fall.
Let's look at this in slow motion. It's important here to notice that my buttocks never touches the mat and the back arching motion of my body during this move. I already have the chin secured. I now twist, pick, and chest pressure for the fall.
Most of your pinning combinations are achieved by either driving at 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Most common mistakes individuals make is they drive chicken wings, half Nelsons at 9 or 3. Another simple way of getting into a half Nelson situation, which is very good for high school students, is by a head and armpit. This is done from the referee's position and utilizes the breakdown. From the referee's position, the referee says wrestle, we slide our hand from the elbow down to the wrist. As we do that, my head comes over into the armpit. Over to here. From here, I want to drive my opponent at 1 o'clock down to his chest, keeping my head in his armpit, controlling the wrist, keeping pressure down, shoulder flat. From here, what I want to do, lift the arm up, creates leverage and pressure, holds the man down in this bottom position, and when I'm ready to go, I duck underneath the arm, I sit through, I come on up into my half Nelson and chin again, creating discomfort by picking the chin, twisting up with the head, thus. Again, notice my left leg. It always goes out the same direction the spinal column and the head is pointing. Reason, so if he decides that it's some form of bridge or attempts to scoot with his legs to get out of bounds, assuming this is the out of bounds line, he can't do so because he has to drive through a power limb of my leg.
Let's look at this in slow motion. Drive your man at 12 o'clock and make him carry your weight. Duck the arm, secure the chin, pick him up, drive over, rotate the head, up with the elbow, chest pressure, and the fall.
Many times in a match, you end up in a rigid situation. Where you're taking a shot, you're riding a man, and he pulls his arm back, sometime or another, wizard. What do we do to the wizard situation? First thing we must do is neutralize this power that he can create with this arm. If not, I'm going to get a sudden headache. He's going to wizard me down into the mat. What I want to do to stop the wizard situation is to take my knee, my right knee, the one that's closest to him, and come to a right angle with my body and stick the right knee in front of his. As I do so, I've taken away the power he has of the wizard. The knee in front neutralizes the wizard. Now that we neutralize the problem, let's put him on his back with a half Nelson. What we want to do is go head hunting. We want to come over the top of the head with a half Nelson. And we're going to get this head just a little bit lower than his mouth. It's a little bit of a dangerous situation to come up high. What we want to do is lower his head. We do that by pulling him in a circular motion toward my outside leg. As I pull him to here, his head will lower. When it does, we come over the top, purchase the chin, take him on down, finish the same way we talked about. I've got the chin, rotate the head, pick it up, get my foot in front of the head, and the pinions will be secured for you.
Again, in slow motion, place your knee in front of his, force his head down by circling his body, secure the chin, weight forward, over and down, rotate, pick, chest pressure, the pin.
Many times you have an opportunity to flatten the man out and go into this chicken wing or turkey bar series. Here's a way we get into a half Nelson situation. You get repeating what we've done. We want to secure the chin, okay, twist the head, and pick it up off the mat. From that release position, the knees behind his butt, and the midline from here, I'm going to kick, shift his weight forward onto his arms. I'm taking one of the legs of the table off, his left leg of the table, and flatten out his head will be at 12 on the breakdown. As I chop and carefully knocking down, I have an opportunity to slip into my chicken wing. I want to have my hand pointing across the spinal column, forming an X. My forearm and his spinal column forms an X. I make a fist, thumb is in the up position from here. From here, I want to sit through, pulling his arm up, and move forward. From here, he knows that I want to drive him over at 1 o'clock to his back. He will put a limb of a tree, his body being the tree, out to stop from moving that direction. From here, we go underneath his arm, fingers do the walking, out away from his head. Why? What we're going to do now is go to a half Nelson. If I brought my hand straight in and started going to half, I'll get about halfway, and he'll realize, uh-oh, here comes a half. And he'll either grab my fingers, stop me, or just pull his elbow into his side, and I won't be able to get to half. A way of tripping him, the hand goes out of the way like you're doing for a one-on-one on the wrist, get the arm completely through, then come over on the half. We got the half Nelson, he didn't realize it, it's now too late. From here, we come to the other side of the body, the side the half Nelson is on. Have the chicken wing across, keeping it legal, fist in the middle of the back. Jump across that side here, and now, back to the clock, we want to drive our opponent at 11 o'clock in this situation. Don't make a mistake and drive at 9 o'clock, as most individuals have a tendency to do. 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock, depending upon the side you're on. From here, we drive him up to his side using our legs. From here, I sink my body down, I slide down. As I do, I sink the half Nelson much deeper, so I'm able to reach around, and of course, again, get the chin. From here, I'm going to continue to drive. If the arm starts going up his back, potential dangerous situation, you no longer need it. You can either release it and continue to drive with your half Nelson, or if it's still in a legal position, you can keep it. In this case, I would let go of it and continue to drive half Nelson on over to his back, twist the head, pick it up, place my foot in front of his head, stop him sliding off the mat. We've created discomfort, and the shoulders will go down.
Let's analyze this in slow motion. Chop. Notice my right leg is forward, which helps me control his left shoulder and arm. Reach across. Under his arm, sink your arm deep. Come over to the top of his head, with securing the half. Jump across to the opposite side. Drive at 11 o'clock until he reaches his side. Once you have him on his side, adjust down, allowing you to get the half Nelson deeper. Go to the chin. Here I release the chicken wing, for fear of the official breaking it as potentially dangerous, and continue on over. Create discomfort.
From the feet, an opportunity arises every now and then to put a guy on his back with a half muscle pin. This is called a front chancery. It's done after an individual is shot at him and had an opportunity to sprawl. He shoots, sprawl. Again, we want to stop him by sprawling, underhooking his arms. From the underhook situation, my right hand comes down to the chin. When it hits the chin, the other arm stays underneath. If we over top, we have a 7 situation we've talked about already. If we'd like to stay under that, we want to keep our arm at the elbow joint, put my arm up, put it across his back. Hand comes up, across his back, forearm, spinal column, forming an X. From here, I want to create a right angle. We talked about pinning. Right angle, chest on chest. In order to take him over, I must get to a right angle. I move my body out to the side from here, and now I'm driving in the direction again. If his head is pointing at 12, as we said, I will be driving him at 1, not at 9 o'clock, off to his right. Coming here, turning him down to the side. I have the chin secured once more, twist the head, pick the head up, tighten it up right now. Most of you have muscles, you want to tighten it up with his head's in the air. You're cutting off his wind. You're slowing his breathing down. It makes it difficult. You're creating discomfort. And now he's starting to panic. He's more worried about where his next breath is coming from than where his shoulders are in relation to the mat. He's no longer going to fight. Create discomfort now. Make him want to quit now. He wants to get off the mat. Then slowly force his shoulders down to the mat, and the referee will call it, and we terminate the bout. Let's analyze this in slow motion.
You can derive more power and speed from this hold if you remain on your feet and stay off your knees. On over, form a right angle with your body and make him carry your weight. Once he's near to the fall, tighten it up, create legal discomfort, decreasing his will to win, chest pressure forward, the fall.
Let's try to combine breakdowns, rides, with pinning. Here we have a situation we call a ride. We go from the right side. If I'm on the opposite side, what I want to do is control my man's left arm and drive him to 11 o'clock. If I was riding conventional side, off to the left, I would drive him at 1. But now opposite side, from referee's position, and then the elbow. From the start, the hand is on the elbow, comes under and across. I want to control his far elbow, left elbow, little finger on the elbow. From here, hand comes out from around the waist, goes in between his legs, and down to the near knee. I want to come to the front of the near knee. From here, I'm pulling his front left support out, left to right of the table, and I want to drive him at 11, not 9 o'clock. If I drove at 9, his left leg would be able to stop me. If I post his left leg out there, he'd stop being able to drive that direction. But he has no post, no support base at 11 o'clock. When I put that knee up, even if he has the foot out at 9, doesn't do any good. Put down, pick up on this, and roll him over. My left hand went out as a post to stop him from continuing on running through. Had he rolled on through to here, we'd go back to the beginning of the tape. In a situation where we want to control the bottom arm. This case, his right arm is down. We'll go under at the elbow, pick that bottom elbow up. As we do, that top shoulder will go down. Okay? If we go the other direction, the bottom arm becomes his left. Pick it up and on over. Now, once we drove it over, starting again from the referee's position, let's slip that into a half Nelson, what we've been talking about. Referee's position, far elbow, into the knee, pick, down to the shoulder. As we do that, he turns to us to fight. We come over top with our regular half, sinking low and deep. That allows you to be able to reach around and get the chin. If you're unable to grab the chin, 9 times out of 10, it's because your shoulder is not deep enough. You haven't put your arm in. You're out of the distance. You can't reach his chin. Sink your shoulder in deep first before you go back. In deep first, wrap around, secure the chin. Twist, pick, create discomfort, then continue to fall on down to his shoulders, placing my right leg in front of his head to keep him scooting out of bounds, and finish.
Once again in slow motion, look how low I have my right shoulder. That gives me extra reach with my right hand to secure his left elbow. I drive him at 11 o'clock, secure the chin, and form a right angle with my body. This creates limbs on his tree. Discomfort, the fall.
Before we move further, I think it's conducive now to talk a little bit more about strategy and pinning and technique. I always tell my youngsters when I'm working with the high school kids or young individuals in wrestling that in the individual you're wrestling, let's picture him as being a tree. If I would take an axe and knock the tree down, chop at the base, the tree falls down. There's now on his belly, on the ground. We have limbs of the tree that are still there. His arms are pointing out, creating limbs. Up to the side. Now, as long as that tree is cut down and it has limbs on it, you are not going to be able to roll that tree left or right. Your job, in order to take this tree and turn it into a telephone pole, is by chopping off all the limbs. Once you chop all the limbs off the tree, there's no more limbs going out. This little pole will roll from side to side, and thus a way of getting the guy to his back. In order for him to keep from going to his back, he must put limbs on his tree, the trunk of his tree and his limbs. He's got to keep limbs out or he's going to roll over. My job in all my pinning situations when he's belly down, in order to time it, I've got to eliminate the limbs. In this situation we're going into now a ride and a pinning situation known as a spiral ride. From referee's position, we want to take a hand that's on the elbow, go underneath the arm, and blocking the arm forward. At the same time, the right hand, the one that was on the navel, is making a fist and going into either the crotch or somewhere on the inside of the thigh. Thusly, as I come, I put the arm. From here, I want to go into the name of the move, a spiral ride. I'm going into a spiral situation. Circular motion, running off my knees, making him carry my weight, slowing him down, creating a little more power for myself, and drive from my legs. Circular, knocking him down. Boom. Referee's position, bump and chop. Bump, bump. Bump, zip. I've broken him down. Now from here, I'm again right angle, helps hold him down, keeps the referee off my back for starting calls because I'm right at the right angle. I'm not riding parallel. I'm under the arm. I'm doing the same thing we did on that half mouse we want to do here. Let our fingers do the walking. Get our arm underneath his arm before we go to half Nelson, so he doesn't know it's coming until it's already on. From here, we go to the top of the head. Top of the head. Now, if he is to stop me from driving him to his right, he has two choices. Put a right arm out, battle block, limb of the tree. Or the right leg may come out, two limbs of the tree to keep him rolling that way. He doesn't want to roll, I want him to. The handle is in the crotch, keeps that leg back. Okay? Now, when I'm ready to go, I want to, assuming that his head is pointing at 12, although not so on this clock right now, maybe the head always points at 12, feet at 6. From here, I want to come up, isolate, one-on-one. Come to the inside, grabbing the wrist, I want to remove the limb of the tree. You guys have all been here. Pull the arm in. Once you've gotten rid of the limb, this tree now becomes a telephone pole and easy to roll. From here, I'm driving at 1 o'clock. 12 o'clock up on his head, 1 o'clock to shoulder. Youngsters starting out here, you have a tendency to want to drive at 3 o'clock, off at a right angle. Do not take him up at 1, right off the shoulder, between the shoulder and his head, the 45-degree angle. Take him the limb in, one-on-one, pull it in, on the top of the head, drive him to a side, one side here. What I should do in order to be able to grab that chin is adjust my weight down. From here, I slide down. It's just like when a guy shoots a double leg on you, and he's sprawling from here. I sprawl down, my left hand, my half muscle hand goes in deep. Sprawl. It's now in deep. I'm in elbow deep on his head. This hand now comes around, secures the chin. I pick, twist, and right here, I hold him just for a second, creating discomfort. His wind is slowing down. The blood flow is being severely decreased, not to a point of hurting him, just convincing him that his shoulders want to go down. From here, I continue on by driving him down, keeping his head up, and the shoulders go flat, and secure the fall. Let's take another look at this.
Remember to stay off your knees, circle him down off of his base. Once you've flattened him out, continue to drive, keeping weight up on the shoulders and head. Eliminate the tree tree limb and drive at 1 o'clock. Once you have one aside, scoot back, reduce down, allows you to grab the chin, rotate, pick, create discomfort, and decrease his will to win now. Then set him down.
I think before we finish this section on the half Nelson, I want to clarify one point again, and that is this body, the man that you're wrestling, being the tree or telephone pole. We will always want to drive in most uniform situations, which I've covered today and we'll cover the rest of the tape, that we drive at either 11 or 1 o'clock in order to pull him on his back. That's the most efficient and the easiest way of doing so. Why we don't drive at 3 instead of 1? If I were to drive this man off to his side, him being a telephone pole or a tree, if he would put a limb out, this case being a leg, it would stop me, or a hand, would stop me from trying to drive him or roll him to 3 o'clock. Okay, with the leg out there propping at 3, it does him no good to stop me from taking him at 1 o'clock. What stops him from going over at 1 o'clock to say with a half Nelson is his hand. I can't drive at 1 o'clock because his hand's out. The limb of the tree, body being the tree. What I want to do is pull that limb in. Now he'll go at 1 o'clock. The leg still may be out protecting against me going at 3. A lot of times you'll end up in this position where you've driven the man incorrectly at 3 o'clock and you wind him almost into a sit-up. If you drive him at 3 o'clock, you can't get him over. Okay? And you drive him into a sit-up situation. So what we want to do is drive him up over his head at 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Now, finishing up half Nelsons, what else we got? The plain old half Nelson. Different times during the bout, you picked up an ankle, broken the individual wrestler down, boom, he's on the mat. You may be sitting on the leg. You might have chopped him down. Or just in different times during the bout, you find yourself in control and on the top position. What we want to do is isolate both arms in order to have a half Nelson work. In this situation, I'm going underneath the arms, where I should be when I'm riding. I want to come off to a right angle. So the referee thinks I'm working for a fall, which I am. He doesn't call me for passivity or a stalling call. I want to isolate one arm, the limb, the right arm here, take that limb off the tree, boom. Now, on the other side, I want to make him think that I'm going for a one-on-one. So I'm reaching under, going toward the wrist. He doesn't know I'm going to a half Nelson yet. He sees the hand coming in as a threat to a double one-on-one. So as I come under and go that way, he's allowing my hand to come under, trying to go for the wrist. But what he's done is allowed my arm underneath his. From this point, once it's totally committed under, now I come across to my half Nelson, hand on top of the head. This is better than on the back of the neck. The neck you can live with, and it'll work, but the farther you slide up to the top of the head, the stronger your arm becomes, the greater the leverage. Isolate over here, eliminate the limb of the tree. Make him think that you're going for a one-on-one. If he thinks I'm going to a half Nelson and start looking up here, he's going to climb it up, I can't climb under. Or he's going to come up and take finger control, and I can't get the half. Tricky. Work your hand in like you're doing a one-on-one, commit the arm, boom, come over to the head. From here, I'm driving off my legs. He put his leg up at 3. Doesn't do a bit of good. Unless I incorrectly drive at 3. I'm driving at 1. Straight up toward the 1 o'clock, I get him up to his shoulder. From here, we talked about. What's next? Scoot down. Adjust your position. Pretend the guy's shooting a double leg and sprawl. Slide down. That allows your hand to come in deep. Shoulder deep. From here, around to the chin again. I purchase the chin. Ball game's over. Twist, pick, and start driving. Alright, right now I've already created the discomfort. His breathing is being impaired. The pain is being created. His shoulders wiggle down when I finish this up. Over, pick the head up, slowly take him down. Do his shoulders touch? My legs in front of the head, stop getting out of balance, and we secure the fall. Now, several things we want to point out. Let's assume that this line now, between the white and the orange, is the out of bounds line. When you put your opponent on your back, there are several things you want to consider. First thing you do, the first thing you think about when your opponent gets his back is where are you located in relation to the out of bounds. You hate to have to put him on his back and get a good guy, the one you really want to beat, there only one time during the bout. and find that when you do get him on his back, he's within a foot and a half of the out of bounds. And we're in this position right here. What's he going to be doing? Naturally looking for the out of bounds, squirming to get a fresh start. You, on the other hand, have got to keep him in bounds. Don't try to pin him at this particular point in time. Your job first is to get him turned around so he stays in bounds. You can't pin a guy who's out of bounds. He's got to be in. So in this situation, as soon as he hits his back, where am I located? Uh-oh. Out of bound line. What you do is you always want to turn yourself around and put yourself out of bounds. I can't stop you from going out of bounds where I am. I want to turn myself around. I use the power of my body, my legs, to turn it around. So, I am now on the out of bounds, driving him back toward the middle. Now I have 40 feet, 28, depending upon the size of your mat, to push him before he gets out of bounds again. Now, once you've secured the location on the mat, of course, you're laying in the middle, don't worry about it. That's not a problem. If you're laying near the edge, don't try to pin him before you secure the situation. You put yourself out of bounds, and then get the pin. Now, second thing, how much time is left? If there's less than 10 seconds, forget about technique, and you want to get into the animalistic part of wrestling. Just to put all you have into trying to get those shoulders down. You don't have time to go through the finesse of technique and straighten him up. If there's more than 10 seconds, take your time. You take a lot of energy out of him when he's on his back. You tire him out. Tiring him out makes it good for you too. So if he does get off his back, he's weaker, he's not as crisp in the second or third period. You know what it's like when you win the first period 5-0. It's tough to come back. If I can hold him here for the period, he's going to be out of gas, I'm up by 5 points, and he's got his work cut out for him. So, when he lands, look to see if you're in bounds. Secondly, how much time is on the clock? 10 seconds or less, animalistic. Just crush, do whatever you have to get him down. Now, if you have more time, then we go into the technique. We work to get the chin and the hand. Twist, pick, try to cut him off a little bit, make his will to wound decrease, and then put his shoulders down. If you turn around, take a quick glance at the clock, make sure that the clock says 10 or more seconds. From here, then we can work into our pinning situation and tighten up and twist and pick. Again, from the referee's position, if I'm flattened out on the mat, I'll ride opposite side. Once I have him down here, under, one-on-one. I want to go to a one-on-one on this side, okay? Once I get a one-on-one, I'm going to a one-on-one on this side. There's 7 fakes. Hand comes through from here. If you allow me to commit my hand, hand comes through, top of the head, better than with the neck. From here, I want to drive it wet. 11 o'clock. I'm on the opposite side, now it's 11. The leg out here does him no good unless I incorrectly drive him at 9. From here, drive him up to a side. Once he's to a side, next, chest down, reach in, grab the chest, chin, and the whole works. Twist and pick, creating discomfort now, and then slowly let the shoulders down. Let's analyze this now in slow motion.
Keep your weight on his shoulders and head, and your arms under his. Eliminate the far limb, and slip in the near half. Once that's secure, drive him to a side, scoot back and down, create legal discomfort, and turn him over at 1 o'clock.
Just like anything, drilling on our takedowns, reversals, escapes, or pinning, the key to knowing what you're doing is by drilling, doing things over and over and over again. What we've previously shown you, I'd like to have you do one each day of everything. What you're doing is learning to how to master the half Nelson, securing the chin, creating discomfort, and then securing the fall. We must do this time and time again in order for you to become the pinner that you know you can be. Again, building on what we've previously learned, let's move to another popular method of pinning, the arm bar of chicken wings. Arm bars are relatively easy to master, as are most pinning combinations. The failure of most young athletes is the inability to recognize arm bars when they present themselves. Let's identify a few of these situations now. First of all, I think the problem is, Michael, please, we have to cover what is legal and what is not legal in the chicken wing series. Before you put them on, you must understand this, so when you have an opportunity during the bout to tie a man up in chicken wings, before the referee can call a potentially dangerous situation and get and free the bottom man from it, you must know how to do it, how to keep it legal, and how to keep the referee, most importantly, off your back. Chicken wings are by pulling one arm back, or bar arms, depending upon what part of the country you're from and what you call. We want to secure the near side arm, the side that you're riding on. We pull it back. Now, the key is where my left hand is located on his back. If my arm is crossed the back at a right angle to a spinal column, it is legal. We want to make a fist, keeping our thumb in the left position. Okay? This is legal. If we slide our hand on top of the shoulder here, we have a potentially dangerous situation. The official may let you continue on, he may break you. You don't want to stop up here. You don't want to put your hand up here. The referee has an opportunity there to stop the match. And on a good kid, you may only get the chicken wing once, and you don't want to let him out of it. But legal, potentially dangerous, and if your hand ever slides over onto his arm, his tricep here, it becomes illegal. Legal, potentially dangerous, illegal. Let's keep it legal. Once we've covered that, let's go into a few situations on where we can pick out the chicken wing from. Now, as we went earlier in the typical half Nelson, we go into a bar arm or chicken wing series from the referee's position, head in the armpit, flatten him out. Head in the armpit, go down to the wrist, flatten him out to here. My head is down in the shoulder, controls him, keeps him down. As I do that with my hand on the wrist, I pull the arm back, and my hand slides up. All 5 fingers are over the top of the hand. From here, slide up and in. My hand across, keeping it legal. From here, what I want to do is pull the arm up away from his body, and sit underneath him. I think before we go any further, I should cover a few principles of pinning with the bar arm series. First of all, we want to get our body, my body, between his arm and his body. I've got to slide in there the whole way up to his armpit. Secondly, I must have all my weight, whatever it is. I weigh 160. I want to get as much of that weight as I possibly can over his shoulders, keeping my head over top of his head. Okay? Once I've got my weight on him, my head always remains directly over top of my opponent. Now from here, in order to turn him over, I've got to eliminate the limbs of the tree as we talked about earlier. Example, we have an arm out. There's a limb. That's got to come in. Later on, we'll talk about turning the man over from here. But first, let's look at 6 more ways of obtaining a chicken wing before we go into the finished product. How do you get a bar arm? From the referee's position, we just showed you head in the armpit, wrist. Next thing we're going to show you is just a simple chop tight waist. Taught on the junior high level, the senior high level, and very effective on the collegiate level. From the referee's position, I want to chop the opponent's arm back. I want to eliminate the arm or the leg of the table, knock him down at 11 o'clock over top of the shoulder. It's no longer there with the support. The back leg, again, boots in his butt, shifts his weight forward, gets the weight over the arm of the table that's no longer there, and down he'll come. On the arm, we want to make sure to chop the arm across the body. Many mistakes are made by youngsters by chopping the arm straight back. And you chop his arm down to his elbow, and you still have not flattened him on the mat. You must chop the arm completely across in a way we're going a little bit against the grain of the elbow, taking the whole arm across, letting the table out, and down he comes. Referee position, chop, boom, flatten. As soon as we get him chopped down to here, this arm slips back into your lane, pick it up, slide into home plate, we're sliding forward, we're stopping at the armpit, weight on, head over top of this. We've secured the arm bar. We'll tell you how to finish this in a second. Another way of doing this, anytime we're riding an individual, he may be already flattened on the mat. We may have picked up an ankle and been sitting on it. As an example, we may have just spiral ride or chop, flatten him out. When we're riding him here, a lot of times the opponent has his hands in front of him, so I can get the one-on-one. When he decides to get to back to his base, he's got to pull his arms back and do a push-up. As he does that, notice what happens to his elbows. Freeze. Right there, his elbows are in perfect position to go triggering this side, or if you're greedy, take both of them. Pull the arm back as he goes from the referee's position. As he goes back, follow the arm back, slip in the ring. We can't stay parallel though. When I'm parallel to him, I want to get out to a right angle so the official at this particular moment doesn't call me for passivity. Right angles, the referee lets you go. Parallel, he gives you some trouble. Out to the right angle, slide in, head over head, right on top of him. Another way you get into bar arms, simple sit-out. A lot of times your bottom man from referee's position will do a sit-out. As he sits out, from referee's position, we're here. Chop his arm down, we do the same thing we just did the last one. Chopping the arm down, as in front one, we slip the ring on. Pick it up, slide him home plate, head over head, weight shifted forward. This keeps him down and unable to sit up on you and counter your movement. Okay? If we chopped, we go on to a one-on-one series. We may have him broken down, chopped him down, however. Reach under, one-on-one. Notice all 5 fingers come over the top of the wrist. It's a much stronger position than pinching with your thumb. All 5 fingers over top. Now, if you get a strong individual here, you may not be able to pull that arm in. So what you want to do is hold that arm still with this hand, use the power of your legs to drive him forward and over it. Drive his whole body forward, using the strength of your legs. Come out to a right angle again, keeping the official off your back. Now from here, forearm on his shoulder, we reach underneath the body. I should have my weight still on him, but for teaching purposes, I'm off. My hand should go underneath. As it goes underneath, my fingers will form a rake. And I'm going to rake his hand that's on his body, rake the fingers off of his chest. Okay, and I'm pulling the hand out from underneath him. I reach under, and I rake the fingers. Down to more alive situation, he's down, I reach under, I pull it out. Once I have it out, the referee is going to be watching this closely. So we want to make sure that we won't take it up past the 45. Okay, and get it stopped. Once we have it out, we want to take it across to the opposite cheek. Hold it off the opposite cheek, cover with my chest, hold him still. From here, reach down, slip on the ring. Now, if you want to hang on to that, fine. I prefer to let him bring his arm back and sit again in the home plate, slide as far forward as you can, head over top of his. Another way of getting into the ring. The last 2 ways, very good also. If you'd like to ride in a blanket ride situation, where you're draped over him, riding in here, making him carry your weights. A lot of times they reach back good your ankle to toss you off. As they toss you off, okay, hand comes down, you go to a bar. You wait for them to toss. As they toss, catch your arm. Okay, I look for half automatically, or one-on-one, double chicks. But again, I have my bar on. If I want to stay to the side, I'm perfectly do so. Come under here, he takes his hand out, as we talked about earlier. Fingers do the walking, chick it in half. Or I can come to the side of his arm, pick the arm up, sit in the home plate. Head over his, roll those upper half. Last thing I want to show you, and by no means is this the only way you win the chicken wing series. There's many other ways. These are just a few of the more common ones. Alright, if you have a man who's trying to roll you, a wrist roll you down to your side, he approaches my right wrist, start rolling me down. This hand, I want to, at this point, before I get overcome, I'm going into my ring here, and I've got to get my hips off of his legs. I'm going to jump across to the side that he's rolling me to. Once I jump here, I've got the arm hooked, he realizes he's in trouble, and he'll belly down. Again, I can stay here, look for double chicken wings. Ooh, that's a lot of fun. Go to the near side half Nelson, or jump across to the side of the ring zone, and keep the weight forward. All of these will do the same thing. Get you tied up, so you can have a good ring series, and the opportunity to pin him. Now, let's go into the first one, and we're going to hold the guy down with it. Let's say we just chopped and broke him down, and we have our ring. His head again is pointed at 12, his feet at 6. So with this, we want to go back to the tree and the limb sleeve. He's going to have a limb out there to stop me from driving in that direction. Okay? So what I want to do is eliminate the limb. Eliminate the limb. Reach underneath, take a one-on-one. Fine. If you can't pull the arm in, you, with your legs, drive him over his arm. One way. One back. You can go under the arm, do the same thing. You can go over the arm, grabbing the hand. I'm not on the wrist, I'm on the hand. Do the same thing. If you pull it in, fine. Pull it in, limb's gone. Okay? If he doesn't come in, drive him again over it. The object is to get that arm in. Okay? Once the arm's in, then we can go. We drive at what time? As we said before, 1 o'clock. Do not, never, ever drive at 3 o'clock when you have chicken wings. Or if I'm on this side, drive at 9. No. 1. Pull the arm in, limb the tree's gone. We drive him up to his base, up to his side. Once I have him to his side, I'm too high. When I take him on over, if I continue to drive, I'm going to end up with my stomach on his chest. That's no good. We've always mentioned chest on chest. If I continue over, stomach on chest, or he can re-roll through, and he gets off his back. We have him up on his side here. Now we take the arm down right at 1 o'clock. Once we get him up to the side here, I stop driving with my feet. If you have a problem here, just pick your knees up. Pick your feet up off the mat. Stops you from driving. Forces you if you can't. Here, take the finger down at 1 o'clock. Hand is down behind the head. Okay? Now, when you take it down at 1 o'clock, you're also creating the discomfort we've always talked about. Same type of thing. Once we've isolated the shoulder, we pull it in. We can either drive him up and take the hand down, or at this point, post the head with my knee that holds this head still, doesn't allow it to slide, and I can circle the whole way around his head. Circle, step, and lead you around into a reverse half Nelson. You can tell by the facial expressions that I'm creating discomfort. This left arm I have real tight. When I pull him down, reverse half Nelson. Now to create more discomfort and have both shoulder blades go down, just like in the yellow pages, let your fingers do the walking. The more you take that head away, the more discomfort you create, and the quicker those shoulder blades go down. Now don't forget to keep your weight off your knees, so he's carrying all your weight. Let's once again go to slow motion on this.
Remember to keep your weight forward, your head over his, eliminate his far arm, drive him to his side, take the secured arm, take it down on the mat behind his head at 1 o'clock. That allows you to remain chest on chest and in good position to secure the fall. If you have an individual who is stronger than you are, and when you reach out, you're unable to pull that hand in, reach out, secure the arm, drive his body over that arm using your legs, run him up to his side, post his head with your bottom knee, rotate around, keeping chest on chest, maintaining altitude, go to a reverse half Nelson, and let your fingers do the walking to create discomfort.
Let's look at another way of creating discomfort, or legal pain. With our chicken wing series, a way of turning them over, we again have them into the tree out here. If you have an individual who has his arm fairly straight, and I can't get out there to get to the hand, it's too far away to reach, what do? Another situation where I have eliminating this tree limb and having him do it for you is again shifting my weight forward, head over head, come to the new ear with my forearm. I'm pulling the head from here to me, and I want him to turn and look. Notice his hand slid from being over there at the protected point at 2, now it's point 11. It's no longer the limb of the tree to stop him from going that direction. You pull the head over, drive him up to his shoulder. Once we get him up on his shoulder here, again, around the head to finish up as we did the last one. Up to the side, head around, knee around, blocks the head. I follow it through, to the other side, keeping my weight on him as much as possible, my knees off the mat, more weight, reverse half, fingers do the walking, pain is created, shoulder blades go down.
Once again in slow motion, you must force his head to slide and point as much as possible toward 9 o'clock, which eliminates the effectiveness of the right limb of his tree and allows you to rotate around his body and secure a reverse half Nelson. To finish, again, let your fingers do the walking. Get your knees off the mat, weight on his chest, lift his head, and make make him carry all of your weight.
There are many ways to skin a cat. Here's just one more. From that release position, we want to chop him down. Let's assume we have him flattened out and we already have our bar on him. So instead of running the conventional way of trying to isolate our arm here, eliminate a limb of the tree, what we're going to do is jump across to the opposite side. As I jump across, I think you'll find that his body will turn to at least a 45-degree angle, if not a 90-degree angle. As we jump across and pull, we get into here. The chicken wing arm slides shoulder deep, shoulder deep. From here, we want to keep our weight on him. That keeps him in this position. I reach across in my own arm. I put my elbow right here on the cheek, not covering nose, mouth, or eyes. And I just pull my arm back. Don't cut loose on him. Referee, cost you a point. We're already in a situation. You want to score points. Head, elbow, pull. Hand goes back. I lock my hands here. My hands now become locked. I get my weight off my knees, circle out front, shoulder and sternum again, to here, and pick up, create discomfort.
Here again in slow motion, jump across to the opposite side, pulling him to his right side. Slide your chicken wing arm in as deep as possible. Pull his head back with your elbow. Reach under the head. Lock your hands. Move parallel. Hit a front bridge. Pressure on his solar plexus with your shoulder. Your right ear on his side. And the fall.
Let's take a look at double chicken wings now, and how that can create a little bit of discomfort. The object now, chicken wing, weight shifted forward, we have his limb out there, we want to bring it in. Get rid of the limb, so we'll roll. From here, we're going to go over top the arm, pull it back, and we now have double chicken wings. Lock our hands here if you'd like, or you can leave them open, depending upon what you prefer. Doesn't really matter. From here, if I would start driving at 3 o'clock incorrectly, what would happen is here's a scoot, and I won't be able to get him over. Too many people drive at 3 o'clock, and that's what happens. No points are secured. What we want to do now is get him up to the side. Once we get him to the side, our legs come around the head to here again, and then we're going to keep moving, and sit up. When you sit up, shoulder blades come down, and every official, whether it's home or away match, whether it's for or against you, has to call that fall. Everyone in the stands can see that both of us got the leg down. So we have a choice of that one, or we go into a figure 4 off the double chicks. Secure them the same way, the arm from any one of the starts we gave you, back, and pull your arm in. From here, to stop that body from scooting, as he just did, as he did as a counter, I'm going to stop his head, his body from sliding, by putting my foot over top of his head. As I do so, I can either keep the wing or let go of it. I prefer to let go, doesn't really matter. From here, instead of continuing on over, the foot that you stepped over, scoops the head, pull it in, pull it in, pull it in, figure 4. Remember, keep that foot at the knee joint. It slides down to the calf, potentially dangerous, or illegal, cost you a point, but more importantly, he gets a fresh start and is off his back. That's a no-no. Hook at the kneecap, take him on over, from here, hand out, so now I do not want him to roll, so I get limbs on my tree. I'll arch up, and the shoulder blades will be down. A closer look at this in slow motion will reveal some of the technique necessary to make this work.
It's important to keep your head over his while securing the second wing. Drive him in a circular motion until you have him up on his right side. Then step around his head and sit through. Lift his hips skyward by bringing your right elbow tight to your side. Remember, one of the most important parts of pinning an individual, the key, is creating legal discomfort. When you decrease his will to win, the shoulder blades will go down. To get to figure 4, again purchase both chicken wings, drive him to his side, step over his head, placing your foot on the mat and block his head from sliding. Scoop his head to you rather than driving at 1 or 2 o'clock and giving him the momentum necessary to roll you through successfully. Then position your body so that it's at a right angle to his and becomes the limbs on his tree. That severely limits him from being able to roll back to his stomach.
What is dinner without dessert? Let's throw in another wrinkle. Playing the guy with the ball arms. It's just a little different. I think you'll enjoy this one. He won't. Second ring. Down, driving forward. He's got his arm posted out here. He's got his leg posted. He's down on his side. He decides he's not going to let you turn him over. From here, we want to underhook the arm, elbow joint to elbow joint, pull it back. We have the lean arm, elbow joint to elbow joint. Of course, we could continue to drive at 1 o'clock and take the man over. But the added fanciness to this, or the dessert, what we're going to do is slide our feet in front of his head, and here I'm springing off my legs, and we're going to pull with this hand, pull in this direction, and that's little, boom, and then sit up. Again, pin. A closer look at this will examine the technique.
You need to make it appear that you are definitely driving him at 1 o'clock. He should then attempt to counter your force and return the pressure in his 7 o'clock direction. Praise him for that decision by executing the hold to the fall.
Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to share with you some of my skills as a pinner. I'm sure that you'll be able to take this material and put it to good use. Remember, no matter the score or the amount of time left in the bout, when you have the ability to pin people, you're always close to victory. Take this tape, analyze it, study each component, look at the slow motions, make it work for you. Use that knowledge to your advantage. When you combine that with conditioning and the hunger to win, you will become the winner you know you can be. Look for more technique from Dinosaurs, because this old fox still has a few tricks left.